Tonight, you're going to see a different version of it. You've actually seen a version, I think, before, sort of Act 2, but now you're going to see Act 1. Bill Meyer, who is undeniably one of the most gifted musicians, not only in the city of Detroit, not only in the state of Michigan, but in the United States, absolutely and possibly the world. When we went looking for a musical director, we interviewed 5 different people. And everywhere we went, people kept saying, you need to go to Bill Meyer, you need to go to Bill Meyer. And we did, and it was a match made in heaven. I have had the delight of working with Bill now over the past 6 years on this show, and he's taken it and honed it down into a radio show that he's going to be touring around, and you're going to see tonight. So tonight, instead of having dinner first, we're having our dessert first. Brothers and sisters, please welcome Bill Meyer.
Thank you very much. For those of you who didn't get the introduction, if you don't know who that lady was, that's Elise Bryant. She's the director of Forgotten. She's a professor at the National Labor College in D.C., and she's in town directing the show. And I'm honored to be here, to be asked back to perform again for this illustrious group of wonderful people. This is the room full of great people, and we are looking forward to performing for you. We were here 2 years ago and did a show called Music in the Struggle, which was 40 songs in the progressive struggle in 60 minutes. Well, tonight we're going to do Act 1 of this 2-act show. This is Act 1. You saw Act 2 2 years ago if you were here. It's a special production. This is the debut performance of it. And it's dedicated especially tonight to the Buck Dinner, so you'll see some references in this particular production to the Buck Dinner. And as Elise said, it's based on the Steve Jones jazz opera called Forgotten: Murder at the Ford Rouge Plant, which we will be performing on Friday, March 25th at Macomb College. This is developed from the show. Within the show, there's a radio show that Lewis Bradford started in Detroit in the 30s called Forgotten Man's Hour. And he was a real minister who came to Detroit in the 1930s. It's a radio show that takes place at the Howard Street Rescue Mission, downtown Detroit. A real place in the 1930s. And you all are actors, and you are now part of this show. You're the studio audience watching this radio broadcast at the rescue mission. It's going to be about 52 minutes long, and we're going to all sit back, hopefully, and enjoy it, and we'll share dinner after and drink. So thank you so much for having us back. You can look at the slides, the screens up there as we do the show. The stock market crash of October 1929 threw the world into chaos. Before long, millions were out of work and homeless. Roosevelt won the Democratic nomination and campaigned on a platform of attention to the forgotten man at the bottom of the economic pyramid. In the 1930s, people gathered around radios to listen to their favorite programs. FDR and his fireside chats, George Burns and Gracie Allen, Amos and Andy. In Detroit, listeners were being entertained by a different type of radio program. Lewis Bradford, Methodist minister who arrived in town in the 30s to help organize the homeless and unemployed, and he started a radio show on WXYZ to give voice to those forgotten people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. WXYZ, Detroit, a forgotten man's hour.
Tonight we have a new voice on Radio XYZ. The Reverend Lewis Bradford from the mission on Howard Street.
The forgotten man's hour.
It's December 12th, 1930. And you're listening to WXYZ Detroit, the Forgotten Man's Hour, broadcasting live from the Howard Street Mission Homeless Shelter, giving a voice to the homeless right here in downtown Detroit. Welcome out there in Radioland to our special year-end review of 1930. And as you know, we're joined in our studio every week by the forgotten men and women who live here in our shelter. Let's hear it for our studio audience. Our host, the Reverend Lewis Bradford, along with his wife and family, came to town last year from the South to help organize the homeless and the unemployed here in Detroit. He started his rescue mission and this radio show that gives a voice to the forgotten men and women in our country. These stories are seldom heard. He's going down the soup line right now. So let's listen in.
When you tell your story, hard times are easy to bear. Step up to the microphone if you've got something to share. Hello everybody, thanks for listening in. If you're lost your job, have no place to live, don't know where to go, you're not alone. We have more and more people joining us here at the Howard Street Mission. Come on down, we're giving a voice to the voiceless. We got a lot of stories to tell, and I want you to know about one of my new friends here. His name is Joe Cantor. Maybe 14 months now, his life has been on the skids. After he lost his job, he just couldn't pay rent. Then he lost his wife and kids. They moved in with her mom. Could it be that he's got too much damn pride for a man? But he'd rather stay here. He gets tons of space here, and he sends them what he can. They say the poor should work harder, inherit something if they were smarter. But they built that factory in a different time. Excuse me while I move down the soup line. There's all kinds of people here. Everyone is welcome. Black, white, young, old, even entire families. Here's a young mother who's been here quite a while, just trying to help feed her youngins.
My name is Annie Franklin. Robert is my husband, and Tim, all our kids and me. Kelsey Will, they hired me, 30 cents an hour. He was making 33. Layoffs hit you hardest in the cold of winter. You gotta find a place to stay. You see the kids go through garbage cans for food. Amazing when folks throw away. They say the poor should work harder, inherit something if we were smarter. But we built that factory in a different time. Excuse me while I move down the soup line.
Let's go a little further down the line. Hear from this worker who's searching for a job. Like millions of others in the country. He's been here quite a while. Step up to the mic and tell your story, please.
My name is Frank Jackson. Alabama's my home for pastoral fires there. 1,000 workers needed, guaranteed with good pay. It seemed like it sounded fair. So you give the factory the best years of your life. It sounded like it was good. I got injured at work, so they said we're sorry. Amazing what they throw away.
You said the poor should work harder, inherit something if we were smarter. Oh, we built this country in a different time. Excuse me while I move down the soup line.
Well, tell your story. Hard times are easy to bear. Step up to the microphone if you've got something to share.
Hi, Reverend Bradford. Thanks for the soup, for giving us a place to stay. I got something to share with your listeners.
Well, we'd love to hear. Tell us your story.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread. Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and line. Once I built a tower, now there's none. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodle-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell. I was the kid with a drum. Say, don't you remember? They called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember? I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a
You know, I've been sleeping in the parks and eating here at the mission for a long time. I see these rich white folks living in their penthouses and going to their country clubs, and I often imagine what I would say to them if I could. I live on a park bench. You park Avenue. Hell of a distance between us two. I beg a dime for dinner. You got a butler and a maid. But I'm waking up. Say, ain't you afraid that I might just maybe in a year or two move on over to Park Avenue? Some of them are
our special guest tonight, here's some of our mission members with a brief summary of the news from the year 1930.
The Ambassador Bridge was completed early this year. just 3 weeks after the tragic collapse of the stock market. It's the longest suspension bridge in the world and is America's #1 international border crossing, linking the world's largest trading partners, America and Canada.
The 1-mile-long Detroit-Canada Tunnel, the world's first subway built between two nations, was also completed a month ago.
The Nation of Islam was founded in Detroit on July 4th by Wallace D. Muhammad.
A new Walt Disney comic strip character was introduced in January. It's a little mouse called Mickey.
In March of this year, President Herbert Hoover said, "The worst effects of the Depression will be over within 90 days. Prosperity is just around the corner."
However, yesterday, the U.S. Bank went under. 60 branches in New York and more than 1,300 branches have closed nationwide. 4 million Americans are now out of work.
3 days ago, the U.S. Secretary of Labor, William Dose, began plans to counteract the loss of jobs in the U.S. in a drastic new way by deporting Mexican Americans.
A few lawyers in town started a new group called the Buck Dinner. Founder, Maurice Sugar, hopes to have a yearly gathering to help raise funds for needy organizations.
And that's the news from Detroit, Michigan. And now for our first special guest, we've invited the attorney who wrote the soup song to come to our own soup kitchen to sing it. Let's welcome Maurice Sugar.
I just came from hunting, and I got this great idea. We got us a buck. Maybe we could sell the buck. Maybe we could raise some money. I don't know. It might work. Thank you, Reverend Bradford and everyone. In March, I sang this song along with thousands of people who attended the Detroit Unemployed Council. It's a parody I wrote based on My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean, and it tells the stories of people like those who live here at the mission. Maybe we can have the folks at the mission sing along. I'm spending my nights at the flop house. I'm spending my days on the street. I'm looking for work and I find none. I wish I had something to eat. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup.
I spent 20 years in the factory. I did everything I was told. They said I was loyal and faithful. Now even before I get old.
Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup.
Fought in the war for my country. I went out to bleed and died. I thought that my country would help me, but this was my country's reply. Well,
Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. I saved $50 with my banker to buy me a car and a yacht. I went out to draw up my fortune, and this is the answer I got. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they give me a bowl of soup. Now, we'd like to introduce introduce you to a special guest who came all the way up from Harlan County, Kentucky. Florence Reese is a coal miner's wife who wrote a new song about the bloody battles taking place to defend the Unions in Kentucky. Let's welcome her, Florence Reese.
Hey, y'all in Detroit. I wrote this song a couple of months ago, and I've been singing it everywhere. It's just pitiful how many people are out of work, hungry, and homeless. Let me tell you just how important it is to fight for a better life by forming unions. Come on, you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?
Yo, they say that this country is a just-a-fair nation. It gives opportunity to all generations.
You're a hard-working woman. That's my mother. I stick with the union because I'm her daughter.
So what side are you on?
I think it's quite simple.
So what side are you on?
Yo, I'm down for the people. I don't care for no bosses. I don't listen to their lies. I believe that we workers have to organize.
My daddy was a worker and I'm a worker's son. I'll stick with the union till every battle's won.
So what side are you on?
I think it's quite simple.
So what side are you on?
Yo, I'm down for the people.
Come on, you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
I believe in myself and the work and the power. I stand for the union because the workers no power.
I believe in myself and I must get paid. So down with the union so I won't get played.
So what side are you on?
I think it's quite simple.
What side are you on?
You, I'm down with the people. Can you feel me now? I believe in equality and justice for all. I believe in the union, and so I stand tall.
I believe in the workers that keep this thing together. I believe in the union solidarity
So
forever.
what side are you on?
Yo, I think it's quite simple.
So what side are you on?
Yo, people.
All you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on?
WXYZ Detroit, the forgotten man's hour.
You're listening to WXYZ in Detroit. It's March 7th, 1932, and this is the Forgotten Man's Hour. And here's the news from Detroit.
Today, 4 protesters were killed during a hunger march organized at the Ford Rouge plant in Dearborn, Michigan.
Famed Mexican muralist Diego Rivera has been commissioned by Edsel Ford to paint 2 panels at the Detroit Institute of Arts on the theme of Detroit industry. He's down there right now with his wife, Frida Kahlo, and it looks like he's going to paint all the walls.
And it looks like Democratic presidential candidate Franklin Delano Roosevelt has a good chance of winning the presidential election over incumbent Republican Herbert Hoover. In his campaign, Roosevelt has introduced a new program to fight the Great Depression. He calls it the New Deal.
The Buck Dinner is 2 years old, and lawyer Maurice Sugar is representing the Ford Hunger Marchers.
And that's some of the news for today. You've probably noticed that most songs being written nowadays are meant to lull your brain to sleep and help you escape from the realities that really need to be addressed.
Your driving me crazy. What did I do? Get happy. Life is just a bowl of cherries. Inka-dinka-doo. Nice songs, but here at the Mission, we prefer to offer songs of substance, still entertaining, but with social content and a bit more meaning.
Garment workers in New York have put together the first Broadway hit show produced by a labor union. It's called Pins and Needles, and this is one of their hit songs that expresses our musical philosophy here at the Mission.
I'm tired of moon songs, of star and of June songs. They simply make me nap.
And ditties romantic drive me nearly frantic. I think they're all full of crap.
History's making, nations are quaking. Why sing of stars above?
For while we are waiting, Father Time's creating new things to be singing of.
Sing us a song with social significance. All other tunes are taboo. I want a ditty with heat in it,
Appealing with feeling and meat in it.
Sing us a song with social significance, or you can sing till you're blue. Let the meaning shine
With every line,
all we want like you. Sing me of wars and sing me of breadlines. Tell me of front page news.
sing me of strikes and last-minute headlines. Dress your observation in syncopation.
Sing us a song with social significance. There's nothing else that will do. It must get hot.
With what is what?
All we want like you. I want a song that's satirical,
Putting the mirror in a miracle.
it must be packed.
With social fact.
All we want like you. Sing me of kings and conferences martial. Tell me of mills and mines.
Sing me of courts that aren't impartial. What's to be done with them? Tell me in rhythm.
Sing us a song with social significance. There's nothing else that will do. It must be tense.
With common sense.
All we want like
You.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our residents, Rosie Johnson, has just rushed into the studio from a demonstration at the Ford plant in Dearborn. Rosie!
Reverend Bradford, it's been a terrible day today. We were simply asking for bread because people are starving. Ford and his company thugs attacked us, and the cops joined in. I saw some of my best friends injured and dying all around me. They say 4 kids starve to death every day in Detroit since the Depression began. How many is too many? Will you take a stand? In this year of 1932, the layoffs are bad. Ford has had the worst year that he's ever had. Henry's son Edsel, he promised relief. Hungry workers marched in the street. We call it the Ford Hunger March. We want bread, not crumbs. The Ford Hunger March, jobs for everyone. Tax the rich and feed the poor. wanted to know what's it all about. It's so cold in Detroit when the March winds blow. You're just 19, do you have to go on the 400 march singing Union songs? We were 5,000 strong. Free the Scottsboro boys, stop Jim Crow too. The march crossed Dix Avenue, and they asked us to starve. The question is clear. Over there they live like kings. We are starving here. What keeps us from changing? Is it simply fear? Must we starve? Joe de Blasio still had a bandage on his hand. Last week he stopped the cops from evicting a man. His wife said, go and give him hell, Joe. Just give me a hug before you go. As the 400 march came up on gate 3, and Billy and the thugs from the company, the marchers streamed down Miller Road. No idea of what would soon explode. Curtis Williams told his dad, we are marching today. His dad said, you've got something to say. Sometimes there are words you must say out loud. You are a man, you make me proud. As the 400 march, the boss said go away. The cops and the goons had their way. The streets ran red, the sky was gray. 5 men were shot and killed that day. Joe York, Coleman Linney, Joe de Blasio too, Joe Bustle, Curtis Williams, we remember you. And they asked us to start. The question is clear. The force living fairly, we're in Hooverville's here. What keeps us from changing? Is it simply fear? Must we
We have another distinguished guest with us today. Paul Robeson is on tour, promoting the new Broadway revival of Showboat. Let's welcome Paul.
Thank you.
Paul, I understand you changed some of the lyrics of Old Man River.
Yes, yes. Yes, I did. And thanks for having me here, first of all. Detroit has always been my second home. Yes, the character I played in the original production was resigned to accepting his lowly place in life without a struggle, as if he had no more control than an endless flowing river. I have always believed we should fight for our rights and the dignity of those forgotten people. There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man I don't like to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care if the land ain't free? That old man river, that old man river, he must know something, but don't say nothing. But old man river, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that bell, show a little grit. As you lands in jail. But I keeps laughing instead of crying. I must keep fighting until I'm dying. But old man River, he just keeps rolling
Those are much better words. They try to feed us songs with little or no social content, giving us images of people who are resigned to accepting the status quo.
It happens in the factories too. They try to get us all fighting each other. Workers of different races. We have no time left to focus on how to get out of this mess.
Do you see how they divide us? Some say it's part of a design. I dare you to cross that color line.
I see we're walking down the same street. Would you take my hand? Divided we fall, together we stand. I think we're on to something that could transform this crazy world from being so mean. And together we speak louder than machines. The battle lines are the clearest we've ever seen. Will you help build the future or give in to the machine? There is a new world coming. It's lifting you and me, and the ones who come after will see that we're marching down the same street, forward as we speak. Together we speak louder than the machine. WXYZ, Detroit, the forgotten man's hour.
It's November 30th, 1937, and this is the Forgotten Man's Hour. Welcome to our year-end review. We have a star-studded program this evening. We're awaiting our host, Lewis Bradford, who had to work late at the Ford plant today. But in the meantime, here's some highlights from the year's news.
Unemployment has now risen to over 20% in America. Today, hundreds of hunger marchers were turned away from the White House after trying to petition for employment at minimum wage.
Over 4,000 labor strikes have taken place this year alone, more than in any previous year. In the last couple of years, we've had the formation of the CIO that is now organizing workers by industry rather than craft. The new Union of Auto Workers, the UAW, was formed in Detroit recently and is one of the first major unions that is integrated.
At the beginning of this year, the UAW organized the General Motors Flint sit-down strike to fight for better working conditions at the plant. It took action from Governor Frank Murphy to end the strike after almost 2 months of bitter struggle.
Henry Ford assigned former boxer and Ford executive Harry Bennett to keep the union out of Ford Motor Company. Bennett and his team of security forces attacked demonstrators on May 26th of this year at the overpass at Miller Road in Detroit. Several workers were injured. One eventually died.
During the last couple of years, the Works Progress Administration, known as the WPA, was begun by the Roosevelt administration. Congress passed the Corporate Bankruptcy Act, which allows corporations facing bankruptcy to reorganize if 2/3 of its creditors agree.
President Roosevelt signed the National Labor Relations Act.
And the Social Security Act was passed in Congress to protect retirees and the elderly.
George Gershwin, composer of Rhapsody in Blue and Porgy and Bess, to name just a few, died of a brain tumor in Hollywood Hospital. Famed blues singer Bessie Smith died from injuries suffered in a car accident in Mississippi, failing to get to a hospital in time for treatment.
The Buck Dinner is now 8 years old. How long will it last, we wonder?
And that's the year-end news from 1937. Our first guest this evening is Alan Johnson, who was part of the Battle of the Overpass, that deadly demonstration that took place at the Ford Rouge plant in Dearborn earlier this year. Alan is here to tell us about what happened. Let's welcome him.
Thank you. The union came to the overpass at Miller Road to spread leaflets all around. There were press, politicians, and clergy too, to keep the peace and keep the problems down. But Bennett and 400 of his thugs cut us off. They got Ruther and Marinovich too. And J.J. Kennedy died of his wounds. Is there nothing that Bennett won't do? May Gillis, she'll tell you that the women were strong, but the thugs beat them black and blue. But the biggest mistake that the company made, they beat the guys from the Detroit News. So now the news is all over the world of what happened behind these walls. It's plain as day for everybody to see. The photographs tell it all.
They say they're gonna kill all the reds.
Kill all the reds.
The red is just the blood in the street.
Red is the blood in the street.
Anger of the forgotten.
Anger of the forgotten. Nothing to lose, nothing to eat. Red is molten steel. Poured over the top. Well, the strength of 100,000. Nothing can stop. How long must they kill our leaders while the guilty get off free? And why is this machine of justice run by the company? What happened to this hole in my heart that cannot be filled? And why is this broken dream so hard to build? They say they're gonna kill all the red. The red is just the blood in the streets. The anger of the forgotten. Nothing to lose, nothing to eat. It's red is break our bodies, but they cannot kill the spirit inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest artist, one of the country's most popular jazz singers, the incomparable Billie Holiday.
Thank you, everybody. I wrote this song after I had a bad argument with my mom over money. I realized that just because a person's religious doesn't mean they're going to treat each other better. I had help writing this from my dear friend right here in Detroit, the great Arthur Herzog Jr. Them that's God shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Lord, your mama may have, and even your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. You can help yourself, but don't you ever make the grave. Lord, your mama may have, and even your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. When you've got money, you've got so many friends, they all come crowding around your door. But when your money's gone and all of your spending cans, Lord, they don't come round. They can't be found knocking at your door. Rich relations give you crust and bread and such. You can help yourself, but darling, don't you ever think about taking too much. Lord, your mama may have, and even your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his
Here's one of the country's greatest blues singers, who's been traveling all over with his best friend, the great folk singer, Woody Guthrie. Let's welcome Huddy Ledbetter, who we all know as Leadbelly.
Thank you. It's been real exciting traveling all over our great country. It's been great here in Detroit, too, at Lewis Bradford's Howard Street Mission. But I must be honest, there are some places folks with my color skin are just not welcome. And I wrote a song about it. It goes like this. Me and my wife, we went all over town, and everywhere we went, people turned us down in a bourgeois town. Born in a bourgeois town. I got the bourgeois blues, gonna spread the news all around. The home of the brave, the land of the free. I don't wanna be mistreated by no bourgeoisie, no, in a bourgeois town. Ooh, in a bourgeois town. Well, I got the bourgeois blues, gonna spread the news all around. Play it from the fellas, yeah, hey! Folks in Washington, they know how to call a other man a nigger just to see him bow in a bourgeois town. In a bourgeois town, I got the bourgeois blues, gonna spread the news all around. All you colored folks, listen to me. Don't try to find no home in Washington, D.C., 'cause it's a bourgeois town. Hey, it's a bourgeois town. I got the bourgeois blues, gonna spread the news all around. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
We interrupt this broadcast for this special announcement. The Reverend Lewis Bradford, founder of the Howard Street Rescue Mission, host of the Forgotten Man's Hour, union organizer and family man, was found dead this evening under suspicious conditions at his job at the Ford ROUGE plant in Dearborn, Michigan. All of us at the mission and on this show extend our deepest sympathy to his wife and children and his many friends who benefited from the humanity he brought to our community. Our next guest, the legendary Woody Guthrie, will offer us one of his songs.
I didn't promise you skies painted blue, not all colored flowers all your days through. I didn't promise you sun with no rain, joy without sorrow, peace without pain. All that I promise is strength for this day, rest for my worker, your light on your way. I give you truth when you need it, my help from above, undying friendship, my unfailing love. I never did promise you crowns with no trials, food with no hard sweat, tears without smiles, hot sunny days without cold wintry snows, no victory without fighting, no laughs without woes. All that I promise is strength for this day, rest for my worker, my light on your way. I give you truth when you need it, my help from above, undying friendship, my unfailing love. creeds of all kinds, my love for my races, all colors, all kinds, my prancers, my dancers, all creeders, all kinds.
Listening in on our Forgotten Man's Hour radio show. And we urge you to do what you can to help the homeless, help strengthen the unions, help fight racism and discrimination, and organize for a better world for everyone. There'll never be another president like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and let's hope there'll never be another Great Depression.
You can hold your head up high when you organize. You can look the boss in the eye when you organize. Smiles back on your face. Work's a better place when you organize. When you organize. Can't speed up the line when you organize. The boss in the gas to shine. Work's a better place when you organize. When you organize.
Fire in your eyes, a heart that's filled with hatred can't strategize. I may not make it to the end with you, but there is no doubt that we will win if we do what we gotta do.
All the world can see when you organize.
You gotta get with you and me when you
Organize. Smiles back on your face. Work's a better place when you organize. When you organize. When you organize. When you organize.
The Forgotten Man's Radio Hour.